Good evening and welcome to Breaking the Cycles with Simply Ann. I'm your host, Simply Ann, and tonight we continue with our powerful soul healing series. This year, we are not only talking about behavior, we are not only talking about choices, we are going deeper because many of the struggles people face today did not begin with decisions. They began with pain, pain that was never processed, pain that was never acknowledged, pain that the mind tried to bury, but the body never forgot. Tonight's conversation is titled The Body Remembers What the Soul and the Mind Try to Forget. Because many people believe that if they don't talk about trauma, it disappears. But trauma does not disappear, it hides in the body. It shows up as anxiety, as chronic stress, as anger, as exhaustion, as illness we don't always understand. And that is why healing must be holistic. The soul must be healed. The mind must be renewed. And the body must release what it has been carrying for a very long time. Tonight, we are opening this conversation with a good friend of mine, Apostle Dr. Ivon Valerie, because healing is not just about surviving, it's about living fully, freely, and restored. Help me welcome in the show tonight, Dr. Apostle again, Apostle Dr. Ivon Valerie. Doc, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me here,
Uh,
Dr. Simply, and on your wonderful program. It's a pleasure to be here, really and truly.
Yes, I'm delighted and honored again to have you. Doc, I have many episodes, but when I have, yeah, I'm not going to mention name, but your type of episodes, your type of conversation, people love it. So it shows it's an indicator that there are so many people out there broken
Yes,
with trauma, with pain, with issues, emotionally, psychologically, and all this kind of stuff. So we get to continue doing this
yes,
because someone out there is hearing and starting the process of healing little by little. Because
yes,
healing comes in layer.
yes,
So we're going to go
definitely.
right into it. Many people think trauma is emotional, psychological. But science now shows that the body actually stores the trauma. Can you help our audience? Help us explain why the body remembers what happened, even when we were a baby and we didn't really understand what was happening. But body remembers.
Yes, definitely. When we say the body keeps the scores or the body remember, this is not just poetic language.
Mhm.
This is actually science has proven that. And the reason why this body remembers is because there are three aspects to our humanity.
Okay.
There is the body,
Yeah.
there is the mind,
Yeah.
and there is the soul or the spirit. And what happens is that um, these three aspects of our humanity all have to move or heal so we can be whole.
Okay.
Now, what happens is that there are different systems within our body, and these systems, there are two actually I want to talk about today. There's one called the explicit system, this
Okay.
explicit memory system,
Okay.
and that is where the mind and the soul basically operates from. So when we experience a traumatic situation, it affects our mind, it affects our spirit, but also affects our body.
Okay.
Now, what happens is that in the mind, we can reframe that. The mind talks about a narrative. So most times persons would say, well, when I was 9, I went through this experience. And they might talk about it a particular way, and then later down when they reframe it, almost like saying the glass is not half empty but it's half full,
Okay.
they come to realize that there is something different I'm seeing now. That can cause the mind to heal.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And so that is stored in a different part of the brain, in the hippocampus of the brain, right? And same thing happens in the spirit. The spirit, it can be reasoned to some extent, because when you find the purpose of what you went through, what we call that meaning making, when you find the meaning for what you went through, you go through forgiveness, all this other, you go through different healing in your spirit. and that can happen. The body is in a whole different system, and that
Mm.
is the implicit system, and that memory is stored not in the brain, but it is stored in the nervous system, and the nervous system deals with the body itself,
Okay.
the body,
Okay.
not the brain. This is stored beneath the brain, and so this is stored in our tensions, in our responses, in our deep breaths, in our reaction to certain things. That is where it is stored. Now, what happens is that our nervous system never got the memo because it is two different filing systems.
Okay.
The explicit memory is filed in the brain, the implicit memory is filed in the body. And so our body never got the memo that this has passed.
Wow.
And so one of the things that people misunderstand about trauma, especially when it affects the body, they
Mm.
think that trauma is about our past. But the nervous system don't really deal with your past. It deals more if our predictions. Can I explain that? Okay,
Yes.
so
Go deeper. Yeah. This
so
is good. This is good. Share this.
so when our body is under attack,
Mhm.
our nervous system is designed to bail us out of it, protect us,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? But our nervous system can only operate from past experiences,
Got you.
right? That is why you would have a baby, you would tell the baby, don't touch the fire to burn you. Understand that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't know that fire is hot.
Yeah.
But from the moment they experience it once, every time fire come close, the nervous
Yeah.
system takes over,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
right? And so it's your brain is constantly scanning to see what can I identify, what can I recognize, what is something that I've seen already, and it automatically asks the question, what did what happened when we saw this, when we experienced this. And so, if, for instance, you went through a traumatic situation in your past, you can simply just through counseling, you can talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
You can reframe, we call it reframing, reframe the narrative. You know, you can forgive eventually,
Yeah.
but it's in a whole different system, memory system, where it is stored in our bodies. Now, the problem we have in trauma is that most times persons are healed in the mind,
Mm.
they are healed in the soul,
Mm-hmm.
but they never understand that they need to heal the body
Wow.
because the body remembers. Now, because we are tripartite, it is impossible for the mind and the spirit to heal and move on
Without.
while the body is still tethered to the past.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we
Yeah.
are stuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is why it is so important for us to allow our body to go through the healing that our soul
Mhm.
and our mind has already gone through.
Yeah, wow, wow. So as you were talking, Doc, that's why sometimes we say we are healed, but when we smell something, we it triggers us,
Yes,
or somebody going to touch and you jump.
yes.
Yes, yeah, wow,
And
this is
so
deep.
and so these triggers, I want to share this because these triggers are not things to be embarrassed about. Most people, we are embarrassed by these triggers
Yeah.
and we feel ashamed of it. And our triggers are not betrayals. And most times, because some people have spoken to a lot of persons, even myself, I have thought prior to being trained in all of this that triggers were embarrassing,
Mm.
and so you would hide our triggers.
Yeah, yeah.
You would remember the moment we feel triggered, we will suppress it.
Yes, yeah.
But suppressing is not managing. Suppressing simply means I'm just gonna push it down.
Cover it.
I'm going to just pack it down,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually, what happens?
Mm.
It spills over.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like having a garbage bin,
Yeah,
and I don't want to deal with it,
yeah.
so I just put the garbage down, but eventually it spills over.
Yeah,
That's what we do when it comes to suppressing.
yeah,
Suppressing don't heal.
yeah.
And so what has to happen with the triggers is that our triggers are not betrayals. Our triggers are forwarding addresses. And it is pointing us to where the root of the problem is.
Yeah.
And so if we are able to really understand what our body is telling us, when we go through triggers, we'll know how to get to the root of what is bothering us,
Yeah, yeah,
and then we can deal with it.
yeah.
And so I keep on telling people that we have to learn how to communicate with our bodies. Communication is simply what's happening. The body is communicating with you.
Yeah,
And that's important because our bodies are the most honest witnesses of our lives.
that's right.
It
That's
has
right.
always been there.
That's right.
It is the most honest witnesses of our life. What our mind forget, our
Yeah,
body don't.
yeah, yeah,
What our spirit man forget, our body do not forget. And it will remind us of the truth and it don't lie to us.
yeah, yeah.
And so if we're able to listen to it effectively, stop shutting it down or listen to it, then we begin to get to the root of the matter where we need our healing. And we begin to get healing from there. But it's difficult.
Mm.
I know it sounds easy because I explain it, but it's extremely difficult. And some persons don't want to go through the difficulty of it. But we have to go down that path.
Wow. Wow, this is a lot of information. Doc, let me ask you another question. What are some common physical signs that someone may be carrying unresolved emotional trauma?
Oh, wow. Um, Use the word common,
Mhm.
but really and truly, I have to emphasize that it is even more common than we think. Most
Mhm.
persons, what we have done is we have accepted or even labeled it as, the norm, our character
Yeah,
traits.
yeah,
That's just how I am.
yeah,
From the time I'm young, I'm going through those things, so it's like normal.
yeah,
But we have situations that are much, common than we would like, and we have accepted them as being a norm, and it affects our bodies. But definitely, to name a few, you have like hypotension, you have hypervigilance. You come into a room, and you're always scanning for danger. You was watching, and that was something I struggled with as a young man. And I convinced myself, interestingly, I convinced myself that I was just trying to act like a super spy. And so, yeah, and so I would come in the room and I'd scan everything. I would know where the exits are. I would know who's at the door. I would sit with my back towards the wall. I would not, make
yeah,
sure I have clear sight of the exit. Make sure even when I park my vehicle, I'm parking in a way that I can get away quickly, as if I'm in some kind of superhero movie. But really and truly, all that was stemmed from trauma,
wow,
and understanding that, I began to know how to deal with it because my triggers were pointing me to where the root of the problem is.
yeah,
And so these are simple things, but they also have stuff in our bodies. The tenseness we have in our shoulders and in
mm-hmm.
our chests,
Yeah,
the lack of sleep,
migraine
insomnia,
as well.
the headaches, yes, the
Mm-hmm.
headaches, that cramp in our stomach or that tenseness in our stomach, our muscle spasms, all
Yeah,
those things happen. Even one of the common ones is the digestive issues. So some persons are just having difficulty going off,
yeah, yeah,
and they think, well, I don't know what happened, and all this are happening. Then we have stuff that all this are scientifically proven, how the trauma affects these aspects of our life, right?
mm-hmm.
And so we have stuff in our community as well, where, because trauma, I tell people, it goes down for generations. It affects the body for
Yeah,
generations as well.
keep passing on. Yeah,
It keep passing on. And so what's some of the physical manifestations of trauma in the body have to do with what people would call, well, my mother had that, my father had this.
that's
It
it.
run in my family.
Yeah, yeah, and
It
see
run in
that.
my family. And science is now proving that trauma affects you on a genome level, and you can pass that on scientifically, and what have you not. But the truth remains that all these things we accept as just being normal.
Normal.
And these are traumatic situations, the manifestation of trauma triggers, these are things that affect us. And because we don't speak about it much, it's accepted. So from the time you were young in school, maybe something happened to you traumatic in your
Mm-hmm.
past. Maybe you can't even remember the entire, you know,
Event.
event, but you've been having headaches,
Mm-hmm.
and you just convince yourself that every month you have to budget that you buy boxes of paracetamol,
Wow,
and you're comfortable with that because that has become the norm. You
wow.
know, that has become the norm. So it is there, and I'm happy for, you know, shows like this, where people can get the information.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Because had we have this form of exposure targeting to this particular topic, trauma,
mm-hmm. Right, anymore.
maybe I would have experienced certain aspect of healing earlier in my life.
Yeah, me too,
So I
actually.
really, I really, I really thank you
You're
for
most
making
welcome.
making the platform for the listeners. They can get that information.
Yeah, yeah. Anxiety, I believe, is one of them too.
Yes,
Some people
yes.
become anxiety.
Anxiety, you have panic
Depression,
attacks,
yes.
depression. It's a whole bunch. Not all of them come directly and only from trauma,
Yeah.
but trauma affects all of these as well.
Wow, 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 wow. So, docs, why do some people experience physical reaction like panic, shaking, or emotional overwhelm when something reminds them from a past pain?
So, like I said earlier on, trauma affects us, and triggers do not point necessarily to our past, um, because our triggers are based on our nervous system. And so, what actually happens is that when we experience a traumatic event, the body records it, and the our nervous system takes over.
Mm,
It takes over our body. And it's important to explain that when the nervous system takes over to protect us, the nervous system is only doing its job. It is intricately designed to protect us.
yeah.
And that's simply what it's doing. And so whenever there's a threat, the body takes over.
Hmm, hmm.
But what happens is that the the reasoning portion of our brain basically partially powers down. So it have more data and more usage from the reaction aspect of our brain. This is why when you're in, let's say, a situation that is traumatic, or you are in an emergency,
Yeah,
sometimes you don't think logically.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
don't know, you just react. You don't know
yeah.
how, you don't know why, but you just react. And the
Mhm.
same thing happens when you're having a trigger, when you're going for a trigger. Somebody might come and they might just say something, and then you just flare up, you react, almost as if you're about to have an accident.
Yes,
It's
yeah,
because it's something happening.
yeah.
The problem is that, like I said earlier on, the brain is constantly scanning. The brain is a pattern machine. So it is constantly scanning as we go through life, looking at, okay, what have I seen this before?
Hmm.
Have I experienced before? And so once it detects, sorry, something that it resembles from your past, it begins to take actions. But its actions are predictive. Now, so let's say, for instance, you had a traumatic experience. And what the body remembers is the perfume or the cologne that individual
That's why
who
we're here.
facilitated that event was
Yeah,
wearing.
yeah.
And so as soon as the brain scans and it takes that scent,
Hmm.
it remembers,
Yeah,
because the body don't forget,
yeah.
it remembers. The nervous system kicks in, it takes over the rational part of your brain.
Yes.
We go into reaction mode, and we are not reacting based on the present. We are reacting based on the predictive aspect of the nervous system
Yeah,
based
yeah,
on the past.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so the issue that we are having is our nervous system is firing. It is firing, but it is firing to the wrong fires
Hmm.
because we are no longer in danger.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's a very simple explanation, but it is a serious and difficult situation to
When the
rectify.
person, yes, yeah,
It's a simple explanation, but it's difficult to rectify.
yeah.
And so I need the listeners to understand that triggers should not be embarrassing
Hmm.
to you.
Yeah,
Your body remembers, and when your body
everything.
remembers, it is doing what it is supposed to do. So one of the things that we have to do, and one thing that we practice in trauma healing and recovery, is we focus on getting the body come to the realization it is no longer in danger.
Yes, yeah,
It is no longer in danger. And so once you can do that, you can begin the healing process
yeah,
of the body.
yeah. As you were talking there, I'm thinking because um we do in our community, family, friends, even within ourselves. when we get that trigger and we smell something, feel something, the mind, the nervous system reminds us what happened. But then many people around us, even people that really wish us well, want the best for us, will say something like, you need to forget, you need to move on, you be strong, stop living in the past. Um, all these encouragement while I am feeling all those emotions. I am dealing with whatever happened that is traumatizing to me. But the society tend to speak those words, forgive, quickly, let go, as if it is um, quickly we can go through it. Almost like they want us to suppress it instead of processing it. How do we help someone in that scenario? Because I believe many are watching us tonight and they feel that for years they had to suppress it because mama told me be strong, you're not the only one, there are
Yeah.
people worse than us in the world, all these kind of stuff.
So, like you said, the first thing I want to explain is that most of the persons that give us this advice
Mhm.
are not necessarily persons that are speaking from a place of cruelty.
Okay.
They are not wicked persons.
Yeah.
Most of them, they are speaking from their own experience.
Yeah.
And what they have done is they have mistaken suppression for healing.
Yeah.
And so they suppressed what they were going through. They believe they have gone through it.
Mm-hmm.
And because now they can manage, they say it's healing.
Yeah.
But suppression can never give you whole
Healing.
healing.
Yeah, that's right.
All it does is suppression is a more manageable aspect of trauma.
Yeah.
And so that's all it is.
Yeah.
And so they will tell you to just get over it, ignore them, don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not coming from a bad place. And I want us to understand that.
Yeah.
But to answer your question more directly, we have to come to this as a community and realize that because I went through something
Mm-hmm.
and I am now at a better place. And the journey or the route I took to get there was I passed from this street,
Mm-hmm.
I made a left turn,
Mm-hmm.
and I made a right turn. I went around the roundabout twice,
Mm-hmm.
and after I went straight to the dirt road, and then I paused for 2 days by the beach.
Mm-hmm.
After I got home, and I was
Yeah.
healed.
Yes. Yes. That's right.
That does not mean
Well,
that is the exact same journey
yeah.
that your sister or your brother or your
That's right.
auntie have to
That's
take.
right. That's right.
There is no 5 point or 5 step process for trauma.
That's right. That's right.
You and I can go and experience the exact same traumatic event, and it can affect us differently.
That's right.
Because most people don't realize, Dr. Ann, that trauma is not what you went through. Trauma is what happened to you inside because of what you
Wow.
experienced.
Wow. Repeat that. Repeat that. Yeah.
Trauma is not necessarily what you experience,
Mm-hmm.
it's what happened inside of you because of what you
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah. That's powerful.
That is why you and I can be in the very same room,
Mm-hmm.
going through the exact traumatic event, and come out of it
Different.
differently.
Yeah. Or someone maybe not even heard it. Like,
And we
mm-hmm.
deal with stuff differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so there's no 5 point step, there's nothing. The trauma healing is chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to bring up some old wounds that you want to forget. There are times you will think that you are no longer in the healing process, but you are actually there because it seems like you are worse than how you began.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is your healing journey.
Wow.
And do not judge your healing journey based on anybody else's healing
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah.
And when we give advice, we have to understand that our advice to persons that are going through traumatic experiences or being triggered for whatever reason have to come from a safe space.
Yeah.
And then let me say that we ought to be safe spaces for each other. A safe person don't lead with advice. They
Release.
don't lead with, okay, telling you this happened to me, so that's
Do
going to
this.
happen to you. You have to
Yeah.
do this, do that, do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Safe people give you space to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Safe
Yeah.
people, they listen to you,
Yeah.
they hear you,
That's right.
And even if you continue struggling with something they don't agree with, they are still there for you. They don't give up on it.
Yeah, yeah.
And we as a community, we have to create an environment of safety,
Mm-hmm.
because the first step to trauma healing is we must, Dr. Ann, create a safe environment. We must.
Wow, wow, wow. This is a lot of information. I'm not so sure how much time we have. But Doc, let's go now to the body,
Mhm.
because trauma hides in the body, stored in the body. Could it be now because of, I mean, not all the time, but majority of the time, because we carry that trauma in our body, we start to get sick, illnesses, uh, um, emotional patterns, the way we deal with situation, chronic stress, chronic pains, and stuff like that?
Yes, definitely. So this is not just hearsay. Science has proven that because what happens when we go through traumatic experience, especially when it comes to the body,
Mm-hmm.
remember our body aspect is the nervous system that takes over. And what that does is that changes what our brain releases.
Yeah.
So cortisol, adrenaline,
Mm-hmm.
all those things, they stay in the body and they give us digestive issues, hormonal imbalance. We have joint and muscle spasms, and all those
The
things. This
inflammation, definitely inflammation.
inflammation, all the stuff, headache,
Mm-hmm.
what we spoke about earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
But all those things, they are literally killing the body. Now, there is something in science that I know. I'm not a medical doctor, but that's what I know. They When there's too much cortisol released in the body,
Mm-hmm.
it is literally poisoning the body. It is
Yeah.
toxic for the body.
Yeah.
And so they are doing studies, and some studies are seeing a link to even cancer when
Yeah.
it pertains to stress
Yeah.
and the things. Now, it's important that you mention that because let's take it from a biblical perspective. And so most times we have the church, and the church always have this whole just pray about it,
Yeah.
trust God and everything.
Hallelujah.
And I'm gonna pray for your healing and rebuke, bind, all these things. But it's interesting to realize that God always promises to heal man's body,
Yeah.
mind, and soul,
Yeah.
the whole man.
Mm-hmm.
Also, what is important, Dr. Ann, is when Jesus, when he walked on earth, when he lived on earth, when Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane, when he was under intense stress
Yeah.
for what he was about to do, his purpose, his destiny, it wasn't just a spiritual thing. We didn't see the results of it just spiritually. He longed for a safe space.
Yeah.
He called for his friends.
Yes.
He said, "Come, pray with me."
Yeah.
He was disappointed by that
Yeah.
because they fell asleep.
Yeah.
But more importantly, we see the effects of that traumatic situation on his body.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible says that his sweat
Mm-hmm.
became like blood.
Blood.
And that is not just poetry or
Mm-hmm.
fancy speech. That's what literally happened. And there is a scientific with a medical term for it. I cannot pronounce it. I'm not going to try. But it's a medical term for that. And that,
Mm-hmm.
that basically happens when the body is under intense
Mm-hmm.
stress,
Yeah.
that the blood seeps to
True.
your sweat glands and
Mm-hmm.
passes through your pores,
Mm-hmm.
pores of your skin. But more importantly, and that's why I want to pause for a little while, if you permit me to,
Yeah. Go ahead.
more importantly, is after he was resurrected, he had the scars to show.
Yeah.
And if God, and hear me carefully, child, if God had an issue or he disassociated the body and what it went through with your trauma from your mind and also from your spirit,
Mm-hmm.
he would have erased the scars after Jesus resurrected.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we have this erroneous mentality that we when we heal, the answer was in no scars.
Yeah. It's over.
It's over. But the scars are necessary because they are signs of survival.
Mm-hmm.
They are proof that you survived.
Yeah. Testimony.
Understand? And so it's important for us to understand that our trauma affects our body physically, literally, it affects the body.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
if we are not going for proper healing, it will eventually kill us.
Show up in illnesses and
Yes,
heart attack
yes.
and all these kind of stuff.
There is a lot of persons who go to the doctor, and the doctor cannot tell
No,
them,
no.
cannot diagnose from a scientific basis or from a health-wise or medical point of view
What's the issue?
what's the cause of the symptoms that they're
That's
having.
right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. So if trauma now, Dr. Ivan, is stored in our body, what are some healthy, because someone is listening to us and we are sounding the alarm that something is wrong and you must find healing. So now help someone that is our viewers tonight. Uh, what are the ways that we can start to begin to release some of these heavy burden that we are carrying, have been carrying?
Wow, that's a wonderful question, Doctor. And I think that question we couldn't even air this episode without having this question in
Mhm.
there. But the first thing I would tell them is do not, or should I say, stop hating your body for telling you the truth.
Wow. Stop hating your body for telling you the truth.
Allow your
Mm.
body tell you what is wrong
Oh, wow.
and where the root of it is.
This is good. This is good.
Because most times we want to be healed, but we don't know. What
Mhm.
what we have seen in trauma courses that we do is that most people they really have been misinformed and they believe that the root is the root.
Yeah,
They
gotcha.
believe that the symptom is the problem.
Yeah, the headache,
Yeah, the headache is, oh, I
mhm,
just, I just have a headache.
the
No, you don't
blood
have a headache.
pressure,
There is
etc.
something that is causing the headache.
Hmm.
And if you listen to your body, if you listen to the triggers, if you allow the body to speak,
Yeah.
because the body is giving a witness as to what happened, when it happened. And if you can follow your triggers, if you can track your triggers
Wow.
effectively, you can get to the root of the matter.
Wow. Wow.
That's the first step. Second thing I would advise you to do is to really start to focus on finding safety. Like I said, safety have to happen
Yeah.
in order, it must be established in order for us to go begin the healing process.
Yeah.
Safety is the first part of the healing process. So find persons that you can trust
Hmm.
that will listen to you,
That's right.
not just so that you can have a pity party every time, just so you
Yeah.
can be just this
Crying and
oversensitive, vulnerable person,
mhm,
but find somebody that you can really,
mhm.
feel safe with and you can talk to. Also, find community. I think that the community is so important. Find a community that you can really be yourself with, not a
Yeah.
judgmental community,
Yeah.
a safe community.
This
Because
is good.
because safety begins, I mean, healing
It
begins where
begins with
there's safety, and where there is safety, you begin to see the truth and expose the truth. It's only
going
in a
deeper.
safe place you can expose the truth,
Yeah.
and the truth have to be exposed
Hmm.
so you can
That's
continue
right.
the
That's right.
healing process.
That's right.
So you got to create a safe space. So now that you create a safe space, what you have to do next is you have to begin to let the body know that it is no longer in a
Indeed.
dramatic situation and in a dangerous
Yeah.
situation. And that is where you have different stuff like grounding techniques,
Hmm.
where you have to basically teach the body,
Hmm.
program the body that it is no longer in danger.
Yeah.
Although it might think it is about to be a dangerous situation because of something that triggers it, but you have to. And so they have different grounding techniques. You can take a walk in a
Yeah.
safe space. You can go jogging. Some persons like to go running, so they go
Hmm.
running. Some persons they like to take up a hobby and art
Hmm.
some drawing, whatever it is. Get that. Some people we focus on more somatic I wouldn't say therapy,
Hmm.
but where they go to the beach,
Yeah.
they just relax themselves, put their foot in the water
Yeah.
for
Grounded.
five
Yeah.
minutes a day or 5 minutes a weekend.
Hmm.
Just get the body to relax. Let the body know that it's no longer in the past.
Yeah.
You're in the present,
Yeah. Yeah.
and where you're at is safe.
Yeah.
You have to let the body know where you're at. You're safe.
Yeah.
And lastly, I want to talk about your spiritual life,
Hmm.
and mainly where it pertains to prayer. I didn't mention it first because a lot of people in the church would tell you, we spoke about a while ago,
Hmm.
they would tell you, just pray, just
Hmm.
pray, just pray. But prayer for a traumatic situation that is void of taking the steps where your body means that it just basically means that your body is not going to heal.
Yeah.
It's only your soul going to heal. Your body not going to heal. And so there's a combination, and also there's also therapy. Get professional help. Get professional help. Go to therapy. Go to counseling. Find a coach you can work with.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in the Caribbean, that's something we don't do as often or as much as we should.
Yeah. We don't trust much.
We don't trust much, but these are very important. So these are the steps I would recommend that persons take to really begin to get over the trauma that he lives in their body, the triggers, and all this stuff. Because these things we have we have to get them. We cannot wheel our way through them.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is this: persons need to understand, Dr. Anne, that knowing about trauma, being trauma informed, does not mean you are trauma healed or you are healed from trauma.
No.
It's not.
No, it's too different. No, it's
there are persons who have gone and done so much an extreme research and breakthroughs in trauma, and they still have to deal with their own traumas. I have to deal with my traumas.
Yeah, I have to deal with
my own have trauma. To deal with our own traumas, And because we are trained and because we are practicing, because we're helping others, doesn't mean that we don't have any traumas. And so what I'm seeing with the advancement and AI and all this other technology and whatever not, a lot of persons would come to me and they would begin to tell me what they're going through. And what they're saying is true. I mean, they have the right terminologies. You would think they studied for years. They Google themselves, they go to ChatGPT, they listen to a podcast, and it's correct information. They probably listen to this
shows, yeah.
And it's correct information. But it doesn't mean because you know about it that automatically you're going to heal from it.
No, it
doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Because like I said in the beginning, we have three different aspects to our humanity. We have the mind, we have the soul, and we have the body.
Yeah, that's
the
right.
Body, you cannot drag the body because the mind and soul ready.
No.
You cannot drag the body.
Yeah, that's why we're talking about healing must be holistic.
Yes.
It must be all three together. If not, we will never be able to heal. Dr. Ivon, it was a great conversation. I'm going to ask you one last question before we close. For someone watching tonight who recognizes that the body is carrying pain from the past, what would be the first step toward healing today as they watch this episode today? What would you advise them to start doing today? The first step.
Find a safe space.
That's it.
Find a safe space. Wherever you are at, find a safe space. Find safe community. Find people that can help you, not people that will agree with you. And we have to understand that in our society. Not because I'm your friend since I was in high school or since we were in primary school, means that I have to stay and tell you all my business.
Yeah.
Because most times, persons a lot of people out there, they are afraid to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And the reason is they have been hurt so much. They have been hurt so much because they took an unsafe space, and unsafe relationships, and they thought it was safe.
Yeah.
And to find genuinely safe space, you don't have to like me to utilize me by putting us to your trauma. If I'm a safe space, find me.
Yeah.
If Dr. Anne is a safe space, find her.
That's right.
Find a safe space. That's it. That's the main thing I want to encourage persons to do.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ivon, Apostle Dr. Ivon, trauma specialist, for being on the show. We're gonna continue this conversation.
Yes.
I wasn't able to ask you all what I wanted to ask you, so I need to bring you back. But tonight's conversation reminds us of something very powerful. Your body is not your enemy. Doc told us your body is a messenger. Sometimes the tension, the exhaustion, the anxiety, or the emotional reaction we experience are just signs that there is something weak. It's a signal when something happened in the past. But like I always say, your past may have started the trauma. Your past may have started the pain. But healing is your responsibility. Until next time, keep on standing and keep on breaking the cycle here with Dr. Simply Ann. Until next week, God bless you.